Hi guys, this is Zach back with some more Legionwood 2, Rise of the Eternals Realm, and I was just looking at this sword and noticed that's a huge boost in damage. Holy cow! Oh my god, that's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. Like, holy cow. Let's get the mouse out of the way. By the way, one thing I didn't mention in the last episode is that I'm playing this in a Windows mode, which is not something you can typically do at this game. Just for anyone who wants to buy it and try it for themselves, I'm already looking forward to this because it's looking pretty good so far. But normally you can only do it in full screen because apparently it doesn't work with some systems. I'm not entirely sure what it means by that, but I talked to the creator of the game and that's what they've said about it. I'm just doing it this way because it's easier to record. I don't think the full screen will take away from the game. Barbarians come from the west. The land of Entoben is in that direction. Harsh, arid wasteland of a country people have never wanted to invade us before. Don't worry about the people of Corinth. We'll make sure the last one of those savages gets what's coming to them. Limb to one of those barbarians back in Corinth. Don't think I have enough experience to take them on face to face. I better train some more before the next battle. Oh, you nearly... I was like, you lost a limb. Why are you still going into the fight? This guy doesn't want to talk to me for some reason. Okay. Got it. Well, let's... Ah, Zenubia's finally ready for some payback, is he?
Felix, don't say things like that.
Sorry, I didn't realize everybody had to be all doom and gloom around here.
Don't mind him. He thinks any time's the right time for wisecracking.
Yeah, I think I noticed. Felix thinks everything's a joke.
If you're both ready, we have some work to do. I trust you'll be up to the task, Lionel.
I'll do it. I want to keep myself occupied. What's on the agenda?
Okay, so Corinth was retaken just over 3 weeks ago. Despite some losses, Senator Brutus has managed to get the city back to something of a normal state.
Well, it seems that those barbarians are screwing around with them more than just the town forum.
Thank you, Felix. That's right. When the barbarians attacked, they destroyed the guard station at the entrance to Hunter's Cave, which happens to be right next to Corinth's farming district. A bunch of monsters have moved into the cave and have recently been attacking the outlying farms.
So it's up for us to go in there and kick some monster butt. I could do it all by myself, I'm reckoning, but Miss By the Book here thinks it's safer to go in a group.
Oh, I don't doubt your skill, Felix, but I'm sure you agree it's nice to share the fun. Anyway, yes, we're to go in and clear out the monsters so the farms can be re-inhabited. Brutus evacuated the people living in the area and closed it off, so we have to talk to him in Corinth first before we go to the farms. He'll give us some more information and a key. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have one. You said we. You're coming with us?
Being a general doesn't mean I sit around making plans. I've been sitting around doing nothing interesting for months now. I feel like seeing a little action, if that's not a problem. I'll leave one of the men in charge while I'm gone.
No problem, boss. Just don't think I'll be rushing to your aid just because you're a girl and all.
Felix, if you don't be quiet, you'll need someone to rush you to your aid.
Well, I guess then that's that then. Whatever you say, boss. Lead on.
Right, we'll go to the forum in Corinth and see Brutus first. Oh, and before I forget, I thought you might like to stock up on supplies while we're there. So you're going to get this month's salary in advance. Now let's get going.
Okay! Speak to the drill master. Okay, will do. So now we've got her. What can she do? What can she do? Gunner. Okay. What does she have equipped? Flintlock pistol. A gun. Oh, she can't equip that other thing. Okay, so for Felix, let's give him the... Yep, he can equip the vagabond knife, but he can't equip that staff. Essence drain. Yeah, he can't use that. Okay. What level are we all? Of course Alia's higher. She's definitely... She's probably more dangerous than... You'd think. And battle readiness means everything. You have to make sure you're prepared for anything. Is there anything you'd like to ask me before you leave? Well, I was told to come ask you something by the game, so what would you like to know about? Equipment, purchased in stores in most towns, also obtained from treasure. Type of equipment you can use depends on which classes your character has equipped. Really, you can change classes. Several types of equipment, they all have different effects. The rarest type of equipment, ornament, item, or room crafts. These objects all serve useful and powerful abilities to enhance your characters. Okay. Attributes in which text they are able to use are determined by the classes they have equipped. You can change the character's equipped class at any time via the option in the menu. Really? Equip both a main class and a subclass. Your main class determines the value of your common attributes and how they grow when you gain levels. Additionally, you'll gain access to the class's text, category, and equipment. Subclass does not affect your common attributes such as your main does. Instead, it simply grants you access to its tech category. Okay. You'll also suffer a small penalty and your attributes will be reduced by 20. Huh. Combine different classes together, many different types of character builds you can create. Game begins with 5 classes available, though more will be unlocked as you progress through the story. Interesting. Techs. Most battles will be hard to win if you do not use the character's techs. Techs are special abilities cost SP. Need techs by purchasing tech tomes in stores in towns and using them in your characters. It's possible for a character to learn a tech that their class does not utilize, however, it will not become available in their tech list until they change to a class that is able to use it. Okay. That's all. So far, the mechanics of this game, this is not just base RPG stuff anymore. Like, it's definitely RPG stuff, but I mean, it's not base RPG Maker. Like, some work has been put into this to make that kind of stuff possible. What kind of classes do we have? A rogue, a gunner. Critical hits are dealt often. Locking attack and defense. Still deadly fires with the use of magic based. And then cleric. Interesting. Interesting. I think I'm gonna keep what they have right now. I'm just the type of person who likes to keep stuff the way it is. The world map. Travel across the world of Legionwood. Locations you can visit, such as towns and dungeons, marked with an arrow. Simply move into it. Not all locations of the world map are unlocked when you first find them. Many places only become available as you play through the story. Got it. I can't seem to run in this. Come back later. Fantastic. Corinth Farmland. What is with the ominous music? I don't like that. What is going on here? Okay, that was creepy. What else do we got? I can't go up there. That bridge is broken, so I can't cross it. Same there. Not yet unlocked. What? I mean, it should have a red arrow over it, shouldn't it? Like, that's what I feel like the game has taught me so far. Who knows? Corinth! So I assume I can buy stuff here. Though, I guess that should be obvious. What's going on at the pub? The pub's a good place to find locations. What will I have? What will I have? Yeah, nah. Fancy pants drink called a malt cider imported from McCure. I don't have enough for that, and even if I did, then what are you doing here? Scram out of me pub with ya! Soldiers defeat the barbarian leader. Heard you went out of your way to save everybody held captive in the Forum too. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Monsters have been increasing as of late. Travelers have told me there's a weird migration patterns over Travel. What's causing this? It helps to talk to people. The Elder Forest has become a dangerous place to travel through. Normally the Dryads that live there are peaceful, but for some reason they started attacking travelers. It's like something put them all into some kind of frenzy. Certainly been some strange happenings lately. Barbarian sure got what come to him. You should all march right into Antaban and make them eat steel. That's a bad idea. Violence say the answer. This would be some problem in Antiban to make the barbarians look toward invasion. The Emperor needs to send an ambassador to the west to parley with them. That's a good idea. Trade with Charn has been difficult recently. They say caravans from the north have stopped coming to Travel. Wonder if something is out of order in Charn. So you never know what you're going to find when talking to people. Husband was killed and the barbarians invaded. I have nothing left in Corinth anymore. I think I'm moving back to Cloud Spring to live with my parents. That's unfortunate. No need to stay at a night. Stay at a night? What? I have a bad feeling that's not a good thing we just did. Do not leave valuables in your room when you check out. If so, Corinthian takes no responsibility for items lost to inquisitive travelers. Okay, I no longer feel bad about that. It's not my fault anymore. Well, kinda, but... Hey, maybe we'll find the person who needed that. Or who lost it, anyway. Oh, get back here. Items that deal damage when used in battle are useful to have around. Allow to deal certain types of damage your class is unable to dish out, or you don't know the text yet for. What do you got? What do you got? Salve, peptide, antibiotic, smelling salts. I've never been a fan of items like this. Like, I'm not saying it's bad to have them in the game. I just don't like using them. Especially since I forget I have them most of the time. Information about a foe. I don't have a lot of money. If I had more money, I would. Wound. Fully restores the party HP, SP, and status outside of battle. So that's not bad. Okay. I wonder. Codex. Entities? Oh, this is just gonna... Chief deity worshipped in Legionwood, said to be responsible for creating the universe. According to scripture, a Gaia imparted wisdom to early men, helped facilitate the rise of civilization. Said that Gaia will eventually desire to live amongst his followers, giving up his divine power. He placed his soul into the weave, ensuring it would be reincarnated in a mortal body. Mortal. At least two people in history have claimed to be Gaia's mortal incarnation. The first is the man who created the Sword of Lore. The second is the hero who brought the followers war to in. I know, but yeah, that was part of the last game. Religious scripture, Ark is a divine being and Gaia is equal. Although Ark helped Gaia create the universe, he soon became jealous of Gaia's influence over the people of Legionwood, vowed to destroy him. Records from the end of Precursor era refer to an entity named Ark that was supposedly encountered in the cosmos. Shortly after his contact, Castoth arrived in Legionwood and began to lay waste to civilization. Finally, a man claiming to be the same Ark emerged in Travel during the Followers' War. He aided the heroes in the time during their struggle against Castoth and aided in the demon's ultimate destruction. Shortly after the Followers' War, due to close, the man calling himself Ark mysteriously vanished, never heard. Really? Castoth was a sentient creature that arrived from the cosmos at the end of the Precursor era, destroying most of human civilization and permanently scarring Legionwood's surface. According to scripture, Castoth was a demon sent by Ark to cleanse Legionwood of Gaia's followers, though his true origin remains unknown. I think he was created by Gaia, but then he was created by Ark, and then Ark was like, I made a mistake. Although Castoth was eventually sealed away, a cult known as the Followers formed with the goal of helping it rise once more, which occurred on at least two different occasions, the Great War and the Followers' War, respectively. Castoth finally destroyed at the end of Followers' War 300 years ago, when the Sword of Lore used to trap it inside an alternate dimension. 300 years. Okay, this is interesting. Precursor era is the name given to the 6,000 years of Legionwood's history before the arrival of Castoth. This vast span of time encompasses the emergence of civilization, its rapid growth, and eventual destruction. Civilizations in this period, known as the Precursors, were the greatest that Legionwood has ever seen. Thanks to their advanced technology, the great empires spanned across the lands, the oceans, and the stars. Precursor area came to an end roughly 2,400 years ago, when the demon Castoth arrived from the cosmos and laid waste to the world. Civilization in Legionwood was forced, literally, to start again from the very beginning. That's familiar. Seeing a most important event in Legionwood's history, the arrival of the demon Castoth permanently reset human civilization, reducing technologically advanced empires to primitive bands of hunter-gatherers. When Castoth emerged from deep space 2,400 years ago, nobody could have prepared for the chaos that would follow. The precursor civilizations were decimated within decades. Thankfully, the last surviving precursors were able to find a way to seal Castoth in a great prison beneath the earth, and society could begin to rebuild itself. 1,000 years after the end of the Precursor era, a civilization had somehow managed to reestablish itself. Although the technological marvels of the ancients had been lost forever, cities and nations existed once again. Fortunately, weak-minded men had been swayed by the allure of Castoth, and the cult known as the Followers emerged and, determined to see Castoth rise once more, plunged the world into the Great War. Great War almost destroyed the civilization a second time, and indeed was responsible for the fall of Dynasland. I remember that. As the followers began to pull strings from the shadows, turning Legionwood's nations against each other. As the known world began to tear itself apart, the followers searched for a way to free Castoth. Before Legionwood knew what was happening, the demon had returned, and it looked as if all was lost. Fortunately, a group of heroes emerged in the nick of time and were able to reseal Castoth before his reign of terror could begin anew. The Great War soon came to an end, and it looked as if the world was finally at peace. The Followers' War. This is the events of the last game. Just over 400 years ago, the Followers re-emerged from the shadows, their desire to revive Castoth burning anew. Echoing the Great War a millennium prior, they turned to the nations of Legionwood against each other once more. After a follower assassin from the Trevelyan Empire for the murder of a turning king, Legionwood became engulfed by war, allowing the followers to emerge from the shadows and set their plans into motion. At this time, two heroes of note appeared, a man claiming to be the divine entity Ark, and a young adventurer whose body contained the soul of Gaia reborn. As war raged around them, these heroes raced to stop the follower from dooming Legionwood once more. Eventually, they uncovered the Sword of Lore, ready to bestow Gaia's power upon them. Willing the power of the gods, the two heroes engaged Castoth in direct combat in an island south of Hawkshire. After a tremendous battle, Castoth was finally destroyed, and the Followers' War was brought to an end. It doesn't mention... I think her name was Alexis? Alexis was, Ark, like the... Okay, so in the last game, Ark didn't remember who he was. He didn't remember he was a god, if I'm remembering correctly. And he had a follower, or a friend, named Alexis. And she became a king of something. I think that's what happened? Also, it doesn't mention, Gaia's... I don't remember what Gaia's name was. I want to say it's Lionel, but I don't want to... I think it was Lionel. So that Lionel, his sister, did something really crazy at the end of the game. I'm not going to go into details, but it doesn't mention her. 25,000 BC before Castoth. For scripture, Gaia and Ark create the universe out of magical energy. That is not a long time for a universe to exist. The earliest civilizations of the Precursor era were in 10,000 BC. 6,000 BC, humanity discovers how to forge bronze. Gaia's soul is absorbed in the weave, so it may live a normal existence. Civilization of the Precursor era achieved their industrial revolution. Rapid advancement begins to occur. How did I know all this? Because wasn't this all lost? Global war breaks out. Use genetically modified beasts against each other. Their most powerful is the Rift entity. Wasn't that the optional boss? I'm pretty sure that was the optional boss that took me an hour at least to beat. The wild descendants of genetically modified animals have become widespread, establishing the world's monster population. That's interesting. Precursors begin to explore the cosmos. New lands are discovered beyond the stars. First mortal incarnation of Gaia is supposedly born. An entity calling itself Ark speaks to Gaia from deep space. Castoth's arrival decimates civilization. Survivors flee to underground Technopolis. Gaia becomes the leader of a movement dedicated to fighting Castoth. A sleeper ship is launched into the outer solar system, filled with refugees fleeing from Castoth. Gaia constructs a Sword of Lore. Uses to seal Castoth waves, killed in the process. Human survivors re-emerge in Legionwood's northern continent. Makir is founded. Scouting parties from Makir begin to colonize other parts of Legionwood. If I remember correctly, that Makir is the country in the north, the snowy north, whatever. Colony on the main continent becomes the Kingdom of Charn. Charn breaks away from Makir and becomes a sovereign nation. Several sea-states emerged south of Charn. The biggest is named Tevel. Hawkshire is founded on Legionwood's southern continent. There's a lot of stuff that happened! Civil war breaks out in Charn. The losing side is exiled to the western wastelands. The Charnian exiles form the kingdom of Entoban. Charn invades the southern city-states. The leader... Oh, shoot. Oh well. Charnian invaders are driven out of the southern city-states. The Empire of Trevel is formed. Trevelian blacksmith discovers how to forge iron. The Iron Age begins. Mages exiled from civilized lands form Dynast Land and the Aldegard Archipelago. Kastoth begins to communicate with men. The Followers' Order is born in secret. The Great War ends, engulfing the nations in Legionwood in bloody conflict. Dynast Land is destroyed. Aldegard Archipelago is devoid of human life. Heroes from Hawkshire seal Kastoth inside the earth, bringing an end to the Great War. Charn begins to colonize the ruinous Aldegard Archipelago. The second mortal incarnation of Gaia is born. A man calling himself Ark appears in Trevel. He's bent on destroying Kastoth once and for all. The followers discover a way to break Kastoth's seal. The Followers' War suddenly begins. Gaia and Ark destroy Kastoth with the Sword of Lore. The Followers are supposedly disbanded. Alexis Island is colonized by the Tramvelian Empress. Alexis. Right? Gaia and Ark mysteriously vanish and are never heard from again. Gunpowder is reinvented in Trevel. First airships begin to appear in Charn. Soldiers from Entoban invade a number of Trevelian cities. The Empire begins a campaign to retake them. Shoot! No! No! Oh boy. Here we go! We're going through time again! Are we almost done? No. No, we're not. This has a lot of history. Okay. Geography. Oh my god. Okay. Name of the known world. 3 major continents. Makir at the North Pole, Desert Region Hawkshire in the south. Legionwood do encompass the entire planet, though a considerable number of scholars have theorized that unknown lands exist beyond the oceans, and accounts from ancient scholars seem to support the sailors to support this theory. Not surprised. The name Legionwood itself can be traced back to the 3rd century after Kastoth's arrival, when settlers from Makir began to recolonize the Charnian continent. According to folklore, when the colonists, along with 1,000 men of the Makar Legion, arrived on the heavily forested shores of Charn, they dubbed it Legionswood in honor of their protectors. The name began to refer to the Charnian lands in general, and soon took on the name as a moniker for the entire known world. By the way, this is going to be a long episode, but it's just going to be a reading. If you want to skip through this, go ahead. But I like the background knowledge. Rest for this is a city-state that exists in the north of Charn, known for its world-famous wineries. A place of decadence and wonder, it is considered by many to be Legionwood's most important trading hub. Charn, kingdom spanning the northern region of the main continent of Legionwood. Once considered a traditional enemy of the Trevelian Empire, and centuries are marked with bloody wars and conflicts. The Trevelian Empire is the largest nation in Legionwood's main continent, and for most of its history, the most powerful militaristically. It's ruled by a democratically elected emperor who is aided by the Senate. Entoban is a Beligurd? I don't know that word. Kingdom situated in the west of Trevel. I don't think I've ever heard that word. Home to a proud warrior culture, Entoban has been many times the aggressor in a series of border conflicts with its neighbors. Fantastic! Makir is a democracy spanning across Legionwood's north continent, home of an ancient technologically advanced civilization, and is widely thought to be one of the oldest places of human settlement in the world. Dynast Land was a country of mages whose holdings spread throughout the Aldegard Archipelago over 1,000 years ago. The nation was decimated through the Great War, but its magic artifacts are highly sought after. And Hawkshire. Desert kingdom that dominates Legionwood's south continent. Although its lands are harsh and unforgiving, its people are prosperous and hardworking, and it is famous for spawning the heroes who ended the Great War. Okay. Concepts. Oh my god. Magic has 2 accepted definitions. First refers to the ability to control and shape elements as practiced by a magus. The second refers to the ability to sense and use life energy as performed by a cleric. In either case, all magic is thought to originate from energy contained deep inside the world's core, known as the Weave. Those who have learned to cast magic are said to be able to communicate with the Weave. It's unknown whether the energy that allows magic to be possible is truly supernatural phenomena, or whether it's simply a remnant of some ancient technology used by the precursors. Text. Special fighting technique or magical treatise recorded by ancient masters and passed down through to the generations. Tech is mastered to some kind of magical prowess. As a person studies a particular side of fighting, tech may become etched into their mind, granting them the ability to use it for the rest of their lives. Most people devote their lives to mastering a certain type of tech that complements their fighting style. To this end, practitioners of techs are usually divided into classes based on the type of tech they study. This is way too, like... I'm not against going in depth to some of the more, like, specific stuff in a world, but this is a little too in depth and, like, you're thinking about it too hard. It's just, you learned an ability! You managed to do something! Good! Now let's move on! It's like learning to cook a certain thing. It's not like you can remember it forever. Gunpowder and steam engines were invented roughly 50 years ago based on salvaged precursors artifacts first discovered in Trevelle. These technologies have revolutionized the Empire, bringing firearms to the army and allowing its citizens to cross the nation on primitive locomotives. Thanks to renewed relations between Trevelle and Charn, these concepts are beginning to take root elsewhere on Legionwood's main continent, and as more and more new applications are discovered, the promise of someday returning to the heights of the precursors achieved grows even bigger. One problem with this. I don't know if I agree with the use of the word primitive. Is it primitive compared to the precursors? Yes. But to these guys, like to the layman of this world, it's big. It's like a new technology. It's huge. Oh, already saw that one. Most of Legionwood's history, the worship of a deity, Gaia, has been considered the dominant religion in the majority of the known world. Adherents of this religion believed that the world was made by the gods Gaia and Ark, who later became enemies. According to the story, Castoth, and perhaps the Darkness, were sent by Ark to cleanse the world of Gaia's influence. As most people in Legionwood accept that Gaia and Ark are real entities, as proven by the events of the Faller's War, it's difficult for competing religions to take hold, and countless minor gods have long been forgotten. That makes sense. Precursor civilization is a technologically advanced society that existed over 2,000 years ago. Mighty people were said to be almost godlike. Influence may have extended even to the cosmos. Most of their history is unknown, though ancient records tell terrible wars that almost destroyed the entire world, and great steel ships that journeyed to other planets beyond the stars. When Castoth arrived from outer space, the precursors were not prepared for the horror that would follow. Within decades, the demon had reduced human civilization to a desperate handful of survivors. Unlikely that Legionwood will ever regain the glory of the precursors, though their legacy lives on in the torched ruins and technolopolises that litter the world today. Again, not true. If humans did it before, what's to stop them from doing it now? Like, it'll take possibly several thousand years, or like maybe hundreds, I don't know. But there's nothing saying they can't. So, a lower instrument and remarkable magical power said to be forged by Gaia himself in response to the arrival of Castoth. Heroes who ended the Faller's War did so with the might of this legendary weapon. Afterwards, it disappeared, remaining hidden for 300 years that followed. The Weave. Stream of magical energy said to exist deep within the world's core. According to arcane scholars, the Weave is the source of all magic. Religious texts claim that the Weave is also the source of all life in Legionwood. Those holy scriptures state that the souls pass through the Weave after their bodily death, where they are continuously recycled over countless incarnations. Nobody claims to have actually seen any physical evidence of the Weave's existence, as no man has thus far been able to penetrate the world's core. If it does exist, the true nature remains a mystery. I wonder if we're going to find out more about that in this game. Runecrafts are otherwise mundane objects that serve as vessels for enchantments. A runecraft is created by a skilled mage who magically folds enchanted runes into an object, enabling their use by non-spellcasters. Runecrafts are created in such a way that the contained enchantment will bind any person who touches it. Simply carrying a runecraft on one person will allow the enchantment to manifest. Whew. Whew. I'm gonna be honest, I was looking for a monster list. That took really long. That took a long time. Well, I say it's about time for me to end this episode. It's been a long one, but I got a lot of reading done, so I'll see you in the next one, guys. Oh boy. Bye!